say what you want about being a DC fan, at least you can't say they don't constantly keep you on your toes. Last week, in the latest episode of How Will DC Shake Everything Up, we had a shocker of a twist, and I can honestly say this is probably my favorite season since the show started back in 2013. In all seriousness though, DC news as of late is just a roller coaster of emotions for fans. One second, the hierarchy of the DC universe was about to change, and the next, the Guardians of the Galaxy guy now runs the whole company. After the Warner-DC merger and the slew of cancellations that swiftly followed a few months ago, I really thought that was the end of all this massive DC drama for the year. I thought it'd be until maybe early next year before we got anything more substantial. But holy shit, batten down the hatches because the DC news just keeps coming. For those of you out of the loop, let me catch you up to speed. On December 7th, 2022, The Hollywood Reporter released an article stating that Patty Jenkins, director and co-writer of the first two Wonder Woman movies, recently submitted her treatment, co-written with Jeff Johns, and that Gunn and Safran, as well as Warner Bros. Pictures co-chair and CEO Michael DeLuca and Pamela Abdy, broke the news to the filmmaker, telling her that her project, as it stood, did not fit in with the new but still unfolding plans. The Wrap would further iterate upon this growing story by adding, Warner Bros. Film Group co-chairpersons and CEOs Michael DeLuca and Pamela Abdy didn't think the treatment worked and decided not to move forward with the film in its current iteration. DeLuca and Abdy spoke to Jenkins first and communicated that they didn't think it was the right direction for the franchise, and asked Jenkins if she would consider pitching something else for the IP in another direction. According to one insider, Jenkins refused and let DeLuca and Abdy know they were wrong, and they didn't understand her, didn't understand the character, didn't understand character arcs, and didn't understand what Jenkins was trying to do. However, Jenkins replied to this claim by stating, I never walked away, I was open to considering anything asked of me, it was my understanding there was nothing I could do to move anything forward at the time. To which Gunn corroborated her statement by saying, I can attest that all of Peter and my interactions with you were only pleasant and professional. Deadline also reported that Henry Cavill took it upon himself to announce his return as the Man of Steel on Instagram on October 24th, the day before Safran and Gunn were named as heads of DC. DeLuca and Abdy, before the duo's arrival, heard a pitch from Man of Steel producer Charles Roven and an unknown writer. Regardless, DC didn't like it and wanted to wait for Safran and Gunn's plan to come into place. Hence, Man of Steel 2 was never greenlit, didn't have a director, nor was it packaged. The Hollywood Reporter added that, also unlikely, is a sequel to Black Adam. Despite the hype surrounding the movie of launching a new corner of DC, a lot of it led by star Dwayne Johnson, the movie only grossed $385 million worldwide, and insiders at the studio say the movie, which cost more than $190 million to produce, will be lucky to break even considering ancillary revenue. And that Momoa, meanwhile, could emerge as a pivotal figure in the new plans according to several sources. In one scenario, the actor would wrap up his days as underwater hero Arthur Curry with The Lost City, which would be the final movie released that was made by the previous regime. Sources are saying the actor would lead another movie or franchise, the character of Lobo. And finally, one part that the Gunn-Safran agenda seems likely to not touch, at least for now, is the Matt Reeves Batman universe, as well as Todd Phillips' Joker 2, which is currently filming. Following this explosion of new information, James Gunn tweeted out, so, as for the story yesterday in The Hollywood Reporter, some of it is true, some of it is half true, some of it is not true, and some of it we haven't decided yet whether it's true or not. Peter and I chose to helm DC Studios knowing we were coming into a fractious environment, both in the stories being told and in the audience itself, and there would be an unavoidable transitional period as we moved into telling a cohesive story across film, TV, animation, and gaming. We know we're not going to make every single person happy every step of the way, but we can promise everything we do is done in the service of the story and in the service of the DC characters we know you cherish and we have cherished our whole lives. In regards to the future of Matt Reeves' Batman, Gunn debunked the concept of folding him into the larger DC universe after Variety claimed a well-placed source told them that James Gunn and Peter Safran are exploring the possibilities of incorporating Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson's Batman into the wider DC universe. Gunn replied by simply saying that it is entirely untrue. Then, as I was literally editing this video, Henry Cavill announced that he will not return as Superman, stating that, I have just had a meeting with James Gunn and Peter Safran, and it's sad news, everyone. I will, after all, not be returning as Superman. After being told by the studio to announce my return back in October, prior to their new hire, this news isn't the easiest, but that's life. The changing of the guard is something that happens. I respect that. James and Peter have a universe to build. I wish them and all involved with the new universe the best of luck and the happiest of fortunes. Gunn also confirmed this by stating, Peter and I have a DC slate ready to go, which we couldn't be more over the moon about. We'll be able to share some exciting information about our first projects at the beginning of the new year. Among those on the slate is Superman. In the initial stages, our story will be focusing on an earlier part of Superman's life, so the character will not be played by Cavill. But we just had a great meeting with Henry and we're big fans, and we talked about a number of exciting possibilities to work together in the future. Okay, so I'm not kidding when I say I was in the middle of editing this video and following this part. I don't know if you can tell I'm not reading a script. After this part, I had about maybe 4 or 5 pages of speculation, and basically a part of that speculation was, yeah, there's no way they'll get rid of Cavill because everybody wants Cavill. But now Cavill's gone, and then I also speculated that potentially that they'll fold it into the Batman universe, but that's out, so I don't know what the fuck's going on. No one knows what the fuck's going on. This is crazy. I love it. I don't know what to expect. I really have no idea. But this is exciting. This is extremely exciting as a DC fan because I think this means we're getting a hard reboot. I now wonder if Gal Gadot is coming back, but at this point, I'm not entirely sure because if Cavill's out and Momoa might be recast or potentially out as well, it looks like we're getting a hard reboot. So what I could see them doing in the future is essentially letting Reeves finish up his universe while on the side continuing their DC universe. And once Reeves is done, then they introduce the new Batman into the universe. So essentially all those side projects that they've been working on or are currently filming or what have you will finish, be done, and then once they are done, then they'll roll those characters into this new universe. And a younger adventure of Superman sounds really interesting. I am very excited about that because this might mean we're gonna get like a happy Superman. And if that's the case, that's crazy. That's awesome. And this also debunks any potential Snyderverse revival, which was, I highly doubted that in the first place. But yeah, I don't know what else to say. Like I said, I had an entire rest of my script that is just pointless now that this Henry Cavill stuff came out and all my speculation is just gone. So yeah, I'll leave you with the last part of my script because this is really interesting. This is really cool, and I'm so excited. Anyway, back to my prior recorded script. The last thing I want to mention is just talking about this new Safran Gunn-led DC. When all of this news broke about the Wonder Woman 3 drama, the Cavill drama, and just all the drama in general, Twitter was quick to call for Gunn to be fired. I know that's a minority of fans, but I also know some people still don't trust Gunn's vision. Well, let me read this interaction Gunn had on Twitter a few weeks ago. A fan asked Gunn, why don't studios/directors hire composers to make music before editing? To which Gunn replied with, if you saw how disorganized most productions are, and how unfinished most scripts are on big movies as they start shooting, the number one reason for the deteriorating quality of feature films, in my opinion, you'd see why usually this isn't an option. I'd say, after shooting with unfinished scripts, unprepared directors are the number 2 issue. It aggravates me to no end that so many directors, not most, but many, squander people's time, money, and talent by walking onto a set not knowing where they're going to put the camera. Directing is a privilege. We are so lucky to do it, and there's so many talented people who want to do it. Seeing directors who aren't grateful for that opportunity and respectful towards the talent and hard work of those people around them pisses me off to no end. If that quote by the man currently running DC movies doesn't put your mind at ease and make you excited for whatever direction he wants to take the DC universe, I don't know what will. James Gunn's DC is very promising, and I can't wait to learn more about where he and Peter Safran are going to take some of my favorite characters. Nevertheless, I would love to hear what you have to say about this whole situation. Do you have any theories, hopes, dreams? Let's all hash it out in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching. Until next time, take care.